especially when we're all trying to pursue success, we start trading our presence for our performance. Say it again. Say that. One more time. We're going to do it again. All right. We start trading our presence for performance. We learn to value productivity over peace. We start hustling to be seen, to be validated, to prove that we're enough. And in doing so, we were drifting further and further away from the woman that we were created to be. I think that as we live in that constant motion, somewhere deep down, we stop hearing our own voice. We're really just listening to what everyone else has to say, and we're trying to respond. We're trying to perform. We're trying to gain value. And we are not even hearing our own voices anymore.
She Roars podcast, which was now globally ranked top 10%, reaching over 24 nations. And it's just reaching out to women to come out of hiding and release their roar, because it is time to come out of hiding. It is time to come out of your comfort zone and really know that your voice has power and has weight, because you don't know where God is going to call you next. And especially in times of living, this is a time not to be silent, but to really embrace your kingdom identity. So thank you so much for coming. And I want to give a shout out to the sponsors tonight that made this vision come to reality. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Jo Malone London store in North Park. And that to specifically to Man Me and holding down. Some of you that want of love and beyond to make this a reality today and have a busy weekend, but they say yes, let's support and let's bring this to life. So thank you so much. And also next is Will. Thank you so much, Will, for the sound. He is the best of the music and creating the atmosphere, the welcoming sweet vibes here. So thank you so much. So if you ever need someone that can take care of the sound in your events, your workshops, conferences, he's the man to contact. So make sure to contact him, or after the event, get his information, because he's the OG on this, okay? And next, I want to shout out to Sophie. Sophie, the photographer. She's the VP of the area. She does branding, photo shoots, and she does a phenomenal job. So she really took the time to be here tonight, to be with all the queens in the room. So make sure that you contact her or after the event to get her information and connect there. And also, I want to shout out to Bob as well. He's a as well, so that way you can also contact him. And also Temple, known as Greatness. So make sure to get their social medias so that way you guys can follow them as well. And just to support. And last but not least, I want to shout out to Lamousy, Vanessa. She is the one that printed my podcast banner and also flyer. So needs some printing. She owns a printing company. She does phenomenal merch for business or any type of merch, hats, whatever you need in your logos, she got it. So make sure to also follow her. So I'm so excited to dive into our conversation. I have such a special guest tonight that she has actually been on my podcast before. And I see it as like round 2, okay? Part 2. And her name is Carrie Grace. So let me introduce y'all to this amazing woman of God, Power 31 woman in Raleigh. When I tell you she is such a gem, she is the founder and CEO of Carrie Grace Consulting and Carrie Grace Life, where she empowers leaders and organizations to fulfill their unique mission with purpose and excellence. She is a globalizer, educator, and advocate. Carrie has served on the front lines since 2011, working with survivors of human trafficking across the U.S. and nations like Scotland, the Philippines, and Iraq. She is a pioneer in trauma recovery, post-trauma resilience, and feminine restoration. As a visionary behind Zen Collective and Lit Abundantly University, Carrie equips women to reclaim their femininity, lead with grace, and live abundantly in every area of life. Through her programs and teaching, she continues to inspire others to walk boldly in their calling, lead with love, and thrive as overcomers. Please help me welcome Carrie Grace. I just want to thank you, first of all, for taking the time and so for coming to the show again.
I'm excited. We have a lot of fun together.
Yes, we do. And let me tell you how we met. We met at a conference that is for people that work with survivors of trafficking. And we have related career. Literally, like when I met you, I was like, my long sister. I'm like, how you been all my life? Because we have so many things in common. So I just so honored and blessed to not be on the show again. Thank you. So because we are gonna have some deep conversations, y'all. Are y'all ready to go deep? There is a purpose of why you're here. And I just want to speak against the lie that you don't belong in the room. You belong in the room. You belong in this place. And you have a seat at the table. And I just want to create a safe space for all you ladies to just really be open to the conversations we're going to have and just see what God does. Amen. So let's start off. Okay, come on. We are here tonight exploring essence. In your words, what does it mean for a woman to reconnect with her true essence? And why is it often the first thing we lose in the pursuit of success?
I mean, we're not starting off easy, okay? We're just going to dive into it.
Yeah.
Not ready? What I love about this event is where we're hosting it. You're in the middle of this amazing store with incredible fragrance. And I think sometimes we do not even realize the impact that fragrance can have on us, right? It is so connected to memory. It's actually the sense, because we have 5 senses, but this is the one that is most connected to memory. So I have some memories associated with fragrance. I just memory of my great grandma who loved gardenia, right? You remember those big white flowers? And every time I was at her house, she always had fresh gardenias. And I love the smell of it. And it always reminds me of her. And my mom's homemade bread baking, oh my gosh, like that was the best. If I smelled that, like my mouth was already watering, you know? And then I think about, there's also the opposites. Whenever you have to smell something that is repulsive, you remember that too, right? We can all remember something that was not a pleasant smell. And there's something so connected in women, especially, to fragrance. There is something about our essence, and that word is more about just who you are.
Sure.
It has nothing to do with what you do.
I agree.
And I think a lot of us have attached our identity, our value to what we do, what I can produce, how I can perform. But your essence is just who you are. It is your original design. You didn't have to do anything to create it. You came with that essence. And there's something about the essence of a woman that really ignites the world. We were the last part of creation. We were the crown of creation, if you will, right? The queens. And God saved us for last. And we carry something that there's nothing else in the world that matches the beauty of a woman who is full of life and radiance. And you are just in your being, in your essence, you're giving life to everything around you. You're not having to try. You walk into the room and you're bringing life. Your warmth, your compassion, the peace that you carry, the joy that just lights you up from the inside out, that is your essence. And every one of you have a unique essence. It's not like anyone else's. Just like tonight, you put on a fragrance. I could put on the same fragrance as you, and it's going to be different because our body chemistry is unique, right? That is how unique your essence is.
Yes.
And I feel like when we are so focused on performing, we're so focused on succeeding. And that becomes actually the very thing that robs us of experiencing our own essence. I feel like for me, I'm working with survivors of human trafficking for a long time now. I started in 2011. And what I can tell you is I was beginning to get dull and numb. It was like you weren't seeing color anymore, and you weren't even tasting food anymore. It was just going through the motions and trying to go as fast as possible. And I feel like when we operate that way, we are missing like the reality of God saying, be still and know. That word know is experience. Be still and know that I am God. Taste and see that the Lord is good, right? We can't do that when we're going 9 miles an hour. It requires us to slow down and to be present. And when we're present, when you're present, I get to experience you. When you're in this tornado, whatever motion all the time, there's no experience of us but chaos. And there's something that is so nurturing about the presence of a woman who is just offering her being, not her doing, who is life-changing. I would dare say it is probably the most healing presence that exists in the world, is a woman fully present, offering her true essence. And if you are like going, oh my gosh, I don't remember being in a present state. I'm moving so fast and I'm trying so hard to succeed and be productive. If that's you tonight, I just want you to like take a deep breath tonight and just be here and have a whole experience, because we're just getting started, but this night can be the reset for you. I really believe that. I feel like somewhere along the way, especially when we're all trying to pursue success, we start treating our presence for our performance. Say it again. Say that. One more time. We're going to do it again. All right. We start trading our presence for performance. We learn to value productivity over peace. We start hustling to be seen, to be validated, to prove that we're enough. And in doing so, we were drifting further and further away from the woman that we were created to be. I think that as we live in that constant motion, somewhere deep down, we stop hearing our own voice. We're really just listening to what everyone else has to say, and we're trying to respond. We're trying to perform. We're trying to gain value. And we are not even hearing our own voices anymore. We stop noticing beauty. We stop resting because that just seems lazy and unnecessary, right? I got to be producing. When we reconnect with our essence, it's really about just coming back home. That's really what it's about. It looks like remembering that peace is powerful. Your presence changes the atmosphere more than your performance ever could. That's the truth about your essence. Okay. I hope that answered question number one.
Okay, we were so mean.
Thank you for sharing that, because that is so essential what you just said. Because we can just be on the go in this hamster wheel, constantly going and going and going, without even knowing we're seeking approval from the outside. And we lose ourselves. And that's where this imposter syndrome comes in, and just low self-esteem and comparison of, like, do I belong in the room? Do I have a seat at the table? Do I know who I am and how God created me? Because we can lose ourselves so much because of that performance mentality. And that can come from deep trauma experiences that we don't know. Or has not been uncovered yet. But it's until that moment we sit down and, like, there's something I'm running away from that I don't want to face what's in my heart. I've been suppressing for years, decades. And it's time to unveil it. It's time to just really allow God to in those spaces to really show and restore us completely in our essence, in our femininity, in our womanhood. And it reminds me of the story of Mary with the alabaster jar. And the expensive perfume she had that just poured out at Jesus' feet. And the disciples were upset. They were like, you shouldn't sell it. Why she just put it to waste? Yeah. But there was a verse in John 12 that said, but she broke that jar, the whole house was full of that fragrance, of that aroma. And it makes me think, what type of fragrance I'm carrying in the room? And it's not just physical, but eternally. Am I carrying the fragrance of love, of peace, of joy, or of chaos, of drama, of anxiety, or a low self-esteem that I just want to hide? I don't want to be in the spotlight. I just want to be in the background. And then makes you think, okay, what type of fragrance? And that's a question to ask yourself. What type of fragrance am I carrying when I walk in the certain places? And no, they are not meant to shrink back. They're meant to shine. And that leads me to my next question. Can you please share what have you learned about fragrance and its power to shape presence, evoke confidence, and express identity? And how can our audience use this in their own daily lives to reconnect with our essence? Love that. Okay. One thing I love about fragrance, and I love that my daughter, my stepdaughter, my husband are here tonight. So I had witnesses to the truth.
Yeah, let's give him a shout out for the back support in her home. That nice good support is really, come on now.
Yes. And I am obsessed with fragrance. And my poor husband is so allergic to all of my candles. And I can't help it. And I have to like them because it just brings me so much joy to have fragrance. And then he blows them out. And he tells me I'm trying to kill him. And this is our daily experience of life, okay? Because I love fragrance so much. This is what is so powerful. Fragrance is experienced before you ever even open your mouth. And it lingers after you're gone, right? And I believe that that is the essence of who we are. People can feel that before you ever open your mouth, and it's going to stay with them after you're gone. Mm-hmm. And I believe what Mary did was so, first of all, it was risque as heck, okay, what she did. The whole story is so powerful, but she was willing to offer what was hers to offer, to pour it out extravagantly, even though there were going to be haters, And they were immediately going, who does she think she is? And she should have done this and she should have that. Okay, anybody trying to put anything out there on social media, and people have all kinds of opinions about that, right? And what you should and shouldn't and all the things, right? But she did not care. She was authentic in her expression and she poured it all out. And don't you think that fragrance lingered for a long time? I mean, it filled the whole house. And then Jesus, this is what he said. And this is a word for you tonight. When they started complaining about her, he said, you leave her alone. What she has done was beautiful. There are going to be moments where you are offered authentically who you are, the essence of who you are. Don't you listen to any voice but his saying, you leave her alone. You let her do what she's doing. I am pleased with her, because that is what the world needs.
Yes.
The world needs us to stop operating in self-protection, in fear, and I got to shut myself down because what if I'm too much or what if I'm not enough? It's one or the other, right? I'm either too much or I'm not enough. So that is what we're told all the time. And so then we shrink back from offering, like Mary did, everything that we have to offer. And I believe that just who you are, when you show up, that's what's needed. It's your being, it's your essence. I'm going to share a quick story. I was traveling to Iraq. Do y'all remember when ISIS invaded? It was horrific. Okay. I don't even tell people what I know human beings are capable of doing to other human beings. What the stories that I heard in those refugee camps. I was traveling over, working in the refugee camps with the women. And there was this one particular group of women that I was working with exclusively. And it was the last day. I'd been there doing an intensive for 5 days with these women. I mean, from morning until evening, and just trying to stabilize them from the trauma they had experienced. And on the last day, I was like, I don't bring religion into this. I just bring the presence of Christ, and he's everything that they need. But I felt like I needed to acknowledge him to these women. And I said, I can't imagine how your perspective of God is being affected by what you've been through. I can't imagine that you are probably feeling like, where were you? Why did you let this happen? Do you even care? And one woman spoke up and she said, that's exactly how I felt until you showed up. And I knew that if God brought someone all the way across the world just for us, but he did see, and it did matter. Okay, you know what that told me? All I had to do was show up. Babe. It was not about all the things I was trying to do. It was my presence. So do not undervalue your presence showing up and the essence that you carry. Right. The thing that is so powerful to me, I love fragrance so much. And I feel like as we embrace our true essence and we use fragrance to do that, because that's part of the fun that we get to be as women, we get to have fun with this. Yes. This is healing, but not in like a hard way. Have you ever been trying to heal from something? You're like, this is hard. Right? Like, I don't want to think about that stuff. I don't want to relive that stuff. I'm just like, oh my gosh. This is actually fun healing. It is so much fun because God gave us these 5 senses. And everything that we're experiencing through those 5 senses. Okay, we're either seeing, feeling, hearing, smelling, okay, tasting. And when we take the time to nurture and let our 5 senses experience the good, we are building ourselves up with these amazing God built-in senses that we just get to enjoy. He didn't have to make things taste good. He didn't have to make anything smell good. He didn't have to make anything look pretty. We did not have to do that, but he did. Yeah. And because he did, we can be nourished and replenished and filled up every day. And I encourage you, fragrance is one of the most fun ways to do that. And I'm a little extra with my fragrance. I cannot know it. And so I have different fragrances for all kinds of things. And this, I'm just throwing it out here because you may already do this or you may want to. You can have a fragrance for when you go to the gym. You can have a fragrance for when you go to a meeting. You can have a fragrance for when you want to be all like sexy on a date. You can have a fragrance for when you go to bed at night that you just want to fall asleep with. Okay, you can have fragrances for every season. All right, so it's different in the spring than it is in the winter. You can have fun with this because there's no end to fragrance. Okay, there's no end, and every bit of this is you getting back in touch with your unique essence. And what may smell and you may love, I may be like, I don't want to smell like that. And that doesn't work for me. But when I find out what really is my essence and my fragrance, it actually is an expression of my authentic self. So it seems shallow, but it's actually not. Because you're becoming more and more authentic and you're nurturing your own being in the process. And when you show up anywhere, in your authentic self, knowing that your presence is what's powerful, your essence that you're bringing, and then you have a fragrance on top of that, you're a whole experience. Yeah. You are a whole experience. And do not underplay the power of that. It will go before you. It will linger after you. And to me, it is like a physical representation of what we carry of the Lord. I don't carry his presence the same way as you. But when I show up and when I leave, hopefully that's what's lingering. That's what went ahead and that's what will stay behind.
Yes. Oh, wow. So good. And I love that tip about having a fragrance for each like occasion. Become an experience. I love that. I love that because and that's something to think about yourself. Like, what type of experience you want to bring to the people you encounter? To your relationships, your family, your friends, your sisters, your community. What type of experience you want them to have you and to remember you when you leave your room? Or do you bring into that joy, that peace, that compassion? Or that just for them to, in a way, see the love infused in that. It's just phenomenal. And I love that. And I love also the concept of how you have in regards to your lifestyle. It's a romance. Yeah, I love that concept because it's how you romance your life, right? In a way that you enjoy it, that you wake up every day. Like sometimes I wake up and I don't feel like getting up, right? I don't feel like I just want to stay in bed all day. And how do I get motivated or encouraged to really have a life that is I can romance?
Okay, again, as I shared with you, I was living my life in a way that was enduring. That's the best way to describe it. I was a single mom running a nonprofit working with sex traffic victims. And it was a lot. Okay, it was draining. It was exhausting. It was emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually wearing me out. Okay. And that was my, I was just existing. And when this happened because my landlord came by one day, he's kind of awkward, and he just was like, I think you need to read this book. And he hands me a book and leaves. Okay. It was super weird. All right. But you know what? It changed my life. So he will forever be honored in my story because he gave me this book. And it was all about the masculine and the feminine. Well, I didn't have language around what I was operating in until I read that book. And I'm like, and it's called The Queen's Code. If you're like, what was the book? It's The Queen's Code by Alison Armstrong. And it showed me that I was operating in the masculine. That is not my original design. Now, I have access to that because we have to survive as women sometimes. But if I'm living in survival all the time, I'm always in my masculine. And I am not experiencing life the way God intended me as a woman to experience life at all. Okay? So this changed my life. It started me on a journey that I am loving. That's what I'm saying. This is fun, ladies. I'm having fun.
Yes.
And I just keep layering it up. It's like, okay, I've experienced it to this level. What else can I do? And I'm like taking it to the next level and taking it to the next level. And one of the things that I have embraced just unashamedly, okay, is I'm just going to be a girl because I am one. And I don't have to apologize for that. And that means I get to romanticize my life as much as I want to. So my daughter lives here. Shout out to Kayla. That's my mini me. And then my stepdaughter. I was obsessed. She has never made another one of those journals. I make them every season. I was like, I'm going to romanticize spring and I'm going to romanticize summer and I am just doing all the things. And what that looks like to me is I'm looking for ways every day to celebrate, to enjoy, to embrace fully, to slow down and experience what every season has to offer to the full. I'm going to eat the foods. I'm going to burn those specific candles that are for that season because we're going to burn the candles. Joy closing out. It's Renee. And I want to go and have the outings that are seasonally going to be so much fun. And it's like this journey of healing my feminine essence is just the most life-giving thing I've ever done. And I want you to start having fun. And what that requires is for us to stop overvaluing our productivity and start valuing our being.
Yeah.
The masculine is all about productivity. Do you know what the feminine is focused on? Experience. Okay. And we experience. We're the ones that bring experience into the world. Men would have probably just still lived in a cave, okay, and eat fish out of the river, and realize, you know what? We're gonna have a house, and we're gonna have some beds, and we're gonna have some couches, and we're gonna have some throw pillows. We're gonna have 27 throw pillows. And we're going to have candles in every room, and we're going to have lighting. We're going to have all the things because we're women and we are about experience. And when we rob ourselves of an experience every day, we are really depleting our own essence. Mm-hmm. And the more that you allow yourself to just like have a whole experience, romanticize your whole life, okay? Because you get to. Because we're women and that's what we do. Okay. When we do that, it actually brings life to the men around us because the more that we are happy, fulfilled and overflowing, the more that they're just like, oh my gosh, she is just so vibrant. It makes me feel great because just to be around her, we don't have to do anything for them. They just need to be around us and it makes them feel better because we're still alive. Right. Versus a woman who is desolate, empty, has nothing to offer because she has just performed and produced until by the time she sits next to a man for dinner in the evening, she's dry. There's nothing left. That's not going to be us. Okay. We're going to be vibrant. Yes. We're going to romanticize our lives. Yes. And the more that we do that, I'm telling you, it is going to let you live the life that you were created to live. A life that you actually want to live, and it is going to be life-giving to those around you.
Love that. Because sometimes, like I mentioned it, like I just don't feel like doing anything today. Okay, how can I be more intentional? And that is such a great way in how you explain it, because especially on the masculinity and femininity, and I realized, and this is something that God really spoke to me about. I was always the man in the relationship. I think there's a lot of women feel the same way. Because I was the one really pursuing the man. I was not allowing the man to pursue me. I was not allowing them to be a leader. A man that will be intentional, because unconsciously, I was seeking for love in the wrong places. In toxic relationships that I ended up being discouraged, heartbroken, because I was trying to find my identity in that. But when I didn't know it, I was so survivable. I was operating as masculinity because out of protection. I was like protecting my heart. And I just want to validate, you're not alone, sis. You're not alone. I understand what you've been through. And it's not easy because it feels lonely. It feels like you're in a pit, in a dark place, and it's hard to see the light. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Because when I started my healing journey and I said, God, I'm going to stop doing it my way. And literally my healing started there and my femininity awakened. I was like, being soft is not weakness. It's actually your strength because it's the grace. It's the grace of God, literally, like just embodying me and flowing. And then when I started tapping into that, doors just started opening without even realizing. And I stopped attracting men that were not available because I was attracting men that were raised by a single mom. They didn't know better. They didn't have a good father figure in their life. And without knowing, they were hurting me. They were discouraging me. And ever since I started my healing journey, it's no. Like, I know my value. I know who I deserve to be with. And I'm meant to break generations from my family because it ends here. And it's the same for you. You are the chosen one in your family to break that cycle. And embody who God created you to be a woman full of essence and full of glory. And I hope and I pray that as we spoke and have this conversation, this awaken something in you to tap in more and to really go deeper. Go deeper and know you're valuable. Know you are worth it and you are more than enough. And last but not least, how can the audience really connect with you on social media? And I know you have some programs and offers that you have as well.
Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram. It's just Carrie Grace Life. Carrie, Carrie Grace Life. And then I have on my website, which is also Carrie Grace Life, I have the Femme Collective, which is just a fun way to connect with other women that are also reclaiming femininity. It's just such a fun journey to go on together. I love it so much. And then I also have the Live Abundantly University, where I drop courses so that you can, grab a course, work at your own pace. It's just completely there already. Everything's there. You buy one course, you have all the videos, you have the guide to go with it. And then there's also, I have some books on Amazon as well that you can find on my websites. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that because it was so amazing and juicy. It's so amazing. I love it. I love the conversation we had. And I just know that it really planted the seed where it needed to be planted for us to be intentional to rest, put ourselves on priority, really awaken our femininity and walk in it, and allow just the Lord to go deeper with you. Because I believe tonight, as we continue together, it's going to be a healing experience. I just feel that. I feel it's going to be like sweet fragrance of healing in this place as you really embody it and just enjoy it. Enjoy the experience. Like, don't push it away. Don't, because sometimes unconsciously we need to push it away. Oh no, this is not for me. No, this is for you.
It's totally for you because you just need to know God created all this good stuff.
Yes.
Okay. He created all this good stuff. He's all about luxury because if you ever read about Solomon's temple, have you ever heard about like heaven? The streets are made of gold. Like where my dog walks and pees, it's made of gold. Like, okay. He is the one that thought of luxury and he surrounded us with it. He gave it to us in abundance. So even if you're like, okay, I'm broke, it doesn't matter. Go outside. There are some flowers. There's some beautiful sky. There's some plants you can play at. There are birds flying around and butterflies. There is abundance and luxury everywhere around you because it was his idea. So don't ever feel guilty for loving that. Okay. You are made in his image and he is extravagant and kind of careless when it comes to luxury and beauty. So enjoy yourselves fully.
Yes, there is no need to feel guilty.
No.
Wanting a life of abundance and a luxury experience. And this is your time. This is your time to embrace it. And before we continue in our transition for me to really speak about what is going to happen next, I have such a great announcement to share. All right, y'all. I want some drum roll. Okay, I've been announcing that opening up of podcast community for the She Roars podcast. Online membership. So my sister Vanity will be giving y'all the special invitation about how to join. So this school community is going to be a special podcast episodes, exclusive events, group coaching, and as well pop-ups events that I'm going to continue to do. And there is a tour coming up. There is a tour coming up to go nationwide, international, and to within the state. So stay tuned because my community will be the first ones to know about when will be the next pop-up. Because it is going to be a luxurious experience, abundance events of knowing that you are a queen and you are so well deserving to experience moments like this. And to really my community, because community brings healing and creates a safe space to really embody contact code equals to be. So join in, and the first 20 people that joins will have the special founders rate. And then after that, it's going to continue up. So join in, and I will be happy to serve you, to pour into you. And I also will have special guests that come to my podcast to pour into the community as well. So I'm excited for the ladies that will join the Queens community. And it's called Roar and Rain Co. So check it out. And I'm so excited. So I'm going to have Mia.
So much, all the energy in the room, all this beauty in the room, and handsome. I want to give a special shout out to our store manager, Miss May.
Yes!
You know, yeah, this woman just been running this woman. Yes. But no, this is all possible because all the detail that you see, all of everything that you see in decoration, she definitely has that eye for all of those things. So definitely big shout out to our store manager. We are going to give you a very, very detailed description of who we are as a brand. Jo Malone London is, of course, the top-notch high-end luxury service. We take customer service very serious here, but to us, it's not even customer service. It's actually, you are literally family. Welcome to our townhouse. This is our home. You are home. You can kick your shoes off if you want to. And get comfortable. And we are definitely going to have you indulge into some very beautiful fragrances. Now, baby, don't quote me on the quotes because I don't know, but I do know is one of my very favorite quotes that I've came across working in fragrance. There was a bride, she wanted to put it on her bottle. I believe it's confused and don't quote me. It does speak about how fragrance, and this just ties into what's very and what our beauty witness Jenifer was saying. You should not ever be afraid to indulge in luxury because luxury is what you make it. It's not because you have the newest Gucci bag. It is not because that are not. Now, if you want those things, that's beautiful because that is deserving. But that is not you as an extension, right? So when it comes to oils and fragrances, as you're speaking about Mary, oils are literally considered literally the closest thing that you will ever have to nature, the essence of nature, which is what women do embody naturally, right, in our room space. And it's literally the same as a wise counsel from a friend. That is exactly why you are here tonight, right? We're here to guide you. We're here to guide you into that step of healing for yourselves and for you to be able to spread that healing across the world, okay? To your families, because we break the curses around here. Today's service is only with hopefully you all enjoy this night, okay? Because you.
Thank you. You went above and beyond. Let me tell you. You better preach, girl. That's right. Right. Yes.
Allow this to be a healing experience for you because you're so deserving queen. You are the queen. You are royalty for such a time as this.
So we're going to start the party because it's going to be a party and it's going to be a time of joy and expectation. If you want to dance while you checking out the fragrances and the perfumes and the candles. But let's support our sponsors. Let's support Jo Malone in the house. And let's give it up for all the queens here. And thank you all for coming and make sure to follow my podcast, scan the QR code, and that way you can support, subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, and also Apple Podcasts as well. So make sure to tag us as well as social media.